to Caddell Cuisine. I'm Nadia Caddell, and today I'm excited to show you how to make churros. It may seem a little bit difficult at first when you think about the frying process or this chocolate coffee sauce, but it's actually not at all, and it's so flavorful, it's so light, and such a great treat. So on the islands, we have really great access here in Hawaii to coffee, some really great flavors. If you have something that you like as far as coffee, please go ahead and bring that in. That's what you can use. If you don't want to use coffee, by all means don't. The main point about this recipe is that you enjoy making this process and that it's something that maybe you can make a big batch of and share with friends or family and kind of show off a little bit of your culinary art skills now. So I want to go ahead and start showing you how to do that. Let's go ahead and jump in and make some churros. To start us off with this recipe, we are going to make the chocolate sauce first off. I like to do the chocolate sauce first because once we get started with those churros, it's very difficult to do multiple things at once. So we're going to start this off by chopping our dark chocolate or semi-sweet chocolate bar to really small pieces. If you can make it a point to get smaller pieces, this will just help the melting process. So really small pieces and kind of just set that to the side. Today I'm using espresso coffee. This is some really nice coffee that my aunt and uncle sent over. I really like using fresh ground coffee, so if you have a grinder and you can grind down some coffee beans, you could do that. Or if there's any other coffee really that you have and you enjoy, you want to add that in, you can definitely do it that way too. It doesn't have to be fresh. Or if you're just not into coffee, go ahead and just omit this altogether. It's not a big deal. So we're starting off, our pot is already warm and ready to go. We've added in the heavy cream. Kind of got the chocolate ready, but then decided I almost forgot the vanilla bean. This is really important for flavor. If you've got access to a vanilla bean, please go ahead and use it for this. It's so delicious. If you don't, it's not a big deal. But I want to show you how to kind of make the most out of this vanilla bean and get the best flavors. You can slice it down the middle and then with a spoon, start to pull towards you and put some pressure with your thumb. And slowly you'll see that you have all of that vanilla bean goodness right there on the spoon, and you can add that into the heavy cream. There may be some left over, so you can give it another little push there. Just kind of pulling it and getting as much of the flavor as you can out of it. Then I like to add in the half of that vanilla bean that's left over. This really helps with flavor. We'll take it out later, so it's not a big deal. Once you have your brown sugar ready to go, you can incorporate that. Kind of make sure that it melts and really whisk that in. Make sure that it's all incorporated and it starts to kind of slightly bubble. I'm going to get my raw cocoa powder ready to go. As you can tell, it's starting to really bubble up, so I want to make sure to really lower this at the lowest setting possible and get to whisking. You can whisk it good. Once that's ready to go, you can add in your dark chocolate or that semi-sweet chocolate that you're using. Again, it really helped that we did kind of chop this and make it into small little pieces. So again, back to our whisking process. It's a whiskey business. I want to make sure though, before I end this, I add in a little bit of that salt. This will really help kick off those flavors. Very important. Now I'm ready for my coffee. I just started to add it in little by little. See what it smelled like, see what the flavors were doing, just to, especially because it's espresso coffee and it's a little stronger, so you can add that in at the end if you'd like. It should start looking like this. I put the other half of my cup there of the heavy cream at the end just to make sure that I finished it off. Once it is completely incorporated, you can kind of finish it off with any more coffee that you wanted to hit it with, or you can be done there. Whatever you'd like to do is totally fine. But it should look beautiful, creamy. It should have this texture, flavor. The smells are just amazing with this. And if you can hit it with a spoon and the back of the spoon it's kind of running the way that you see it there, then you know you've done good. Now you can divide it off into little containers there on the side for you. We're just going to set it off because we're going to jump into our churros. So for our churros, we are going to start off with the water. Again, our pot is on a medium setting. And with the butter, it really helps if you can take a butter stick and kind of cut it into little diced cubes or whatever. It will help you to really let the butter melt. So if you can cube it, dice it, however you'd like to do it, as long as you can make small little squares with it. You can throw that in. Remembering to incorporate some of that salt. And as that's going and melting, you're adding in the cinnamon as well. And if you remember, we had that other half of a vanilla bean that we used earlier. We're going to use that. So give this a stir, give it a little bit of time to melt, and we put in that other vanilla bean in. We set it down on really low, very important because we're not wanting this dough to burn or to overcook. But once it's on low, you can incorporate the flour slowly. And then when you're all done there, right away, begin to mix and begin to stir and incorporate this mixture. As you can tell, it doesn't look quite like a dough yet, but once it's removed from the heat and mixed in quite well, you'll really start to see the dough form. At this point, you can take out that vanilla bean. And I'm gonna use a KitchenAid stand mixer. If you've got a hand mixer or anything else available to you, please use that. It really helps. If not, you can do this manually, but I like to be able to use the mixer. I'm adding in the eggs now. The batter or the dough has cooled a few minutes. It's very, very important not to add the eggs in immediately. They will kind of start cooking, so you just want to make sure that you let that cool a little bit. So now your dough is ready to go, and we're going to take a big cup, a piping bag, and a star-tipped pipe tip there. And that's what we're going to use today. I'm just going to incorporate that little tip to the very, very end of the piping bag, cut the tip off, and I'm ready to go. Very simple. The most important tip for me as far as making these churros easy is just grabbing a bigger cup, a large mason jar, whatever you have available, and let that sit off to the side. And now you're pulling the dough from the bowl that you're using the dough in. You're just pulling the sides, pulling and pushing and pulling, and just kind of making sure that nothing's kind of too attached there. Just makes it a little easier. Now that I have the cup there waiting, I can easily fill this bag, put a little pressure, everything should come towards the tip of it. And then I am ready to go. I like to use a Dutch oven. If you've got one, it really helps with heat. And as that's warming and hitting 350 degrees, I'm getting my sugars ready and my cinnamon ready. And I'm going to incorporate these so that when I'm ready to roll these churros, they are ready to be kind of dipped in this. So as my oil is hitting 350, I'm taking any clumps out of this sugar. And just really prepping myself, because once these churros start going, it's kind of difficult to do everything at once. So if you can prep yourself, it makes it so much easier. So everything is ready to go. My oil has hit the 350 marker. I have a tray with a kind of straining or cooling rack over it, my cinnamon sugar, and all the tools I'll need, including a knife, or scissors if you prefer, because as you'll see, it will need a little bit of help to kind of come out of the piping bag. So pick the size of a churro that you'd like. Keep in mind they will get bigger, so you can cut it off right at where you feel comfortable. I feel comfortable using knife. If you'd like, you can use scissors. If you find that your oil is too hot or kind of burning or scorching the churros, just go ahead and turn it down. Again, you're comfortable with the size. It is sort of hard to get them off, but with a little bit of patience and practice, you'll be doing just fine with these. So I like to make about 4 or 5 of these and then take some time to sort of mix these around. Ladle some of that oil on the top part of these and give them a little bit of a chance to rotate. This will really help for an evenly crisp churro. A few minutes later, they should look like a golden brown crispiness to them. Give it a few seconds to drain over the oil. Once you're happy with the amount of draining that you've done, set them off to the side where your cooling rack and tray are. And before they cool too much, you can roll them in that cinnamon sugar. As you can tell, I'm multitasking and making a few more as I'm waiting. This really helps the process go a lot faster and make a whole lot more churros in a shorter amount of time. So I'm rolling and dusting and rolling and dusting as my other churros are just about done frying. This is definitely a great thing to do with the kids or do as a family. Everyone can have a little job or a little station. And then they get to enjoy the churros at the end. So it's a win-win situation for all. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this video to be useful and kind of give you a better idea of how you can make this at home. You're able to just sort of make as many churros as you'd like, and then you can store that pouch or that bag in another bigger Ziploc or a container or anything that's airtight, and then you can fry some up another day and enjoy them then. So you could do that, or you could always make a big batch and kind of divide them up and then share them with friends if you'd like to. It's the pandemic. Whatever you'd like to do is totally fine. We just wanted to make sure that we shared this recipe with you so that you could enjoy it at home. We're just so excited to see that you guys liked and commented and subscribed on our content. It makes us happy. Sabrina and I really enjoy just seeing you guys love these recipes, use them, and kind of share that with us too. So thank you so much for that. All of the information's down below, including our website and our Instagram in case you want to connect with us there too. We will see you on the next recipe, and until then, aloha and goodbye. So flavorful, flavor flav, churros, churros. I said it with the rolling of the R because churros.